Okay, folks, welcome back. Bucktails, the most versatile lure bait. What do you call it? Lure bait? I don't know. Some people call them lures, some people call them baits. Bucktail, it's a jig. It's essentially a hook with a piece of lead and a bunch of deer tail tied around it. And it is the most versatile and probably the most effective lure that you can learn to use. It can be used in dozens of applications. There's no real wrong way to fish a bucktail. If it works for you, then it works for you. I have a couple of methods that I like to use. This video is kind of going to show that, and I'm fishing a creek that opens up into a bigger bay and a boat channel, and it's kind of like a pinch point, and fish will kind of ambush bait on the way out. And for whatever reason, a bucktail is very effective here. You have some drop offs, and I have some diagrams I'm going to go over after. I'm going to let the video roll, show you guys the fishing that I was doing, and the retrieve and everything else. It is a night video again, of course. I'll start off by showing the retrieve, put the light on, and kind of shine it on the reel and what I was doing, and then gets into the fishing part of the video. And then after that, I'll come back and go over like I said, diagram and kind of how it was working the area, and kind of help you guys kind of look for, well, help you guys with what to look for when you're searching on a spot like this and there's some fish. This particular spot I have not fished that often yet. It's kind of new to me. It has been a little bit of a frustrating spot at times, because a lot of the times during the night these fish are feeding on top. It's very, very hard to get them to hit anything. I have tried throwing every swimming plug imaginable, can't get them to hit it. The only thing I've really had any luck with is some soft plastics like Tsunami swim shads, and you'll see in this video I do switch over to a Tsunami sand eel, a smaller one, and bucktails. That's really all I've been able to get them to hit, and especially when they're feeding on the top. And it's frustrating because you hear them. Sometimes you even see them, and when they're feeding on the top, they're feeding on the top. It's real tough to get them. But last night, they weren't feeding on the top. Was able to pull a few with a bucktail. Kind of got done exactly what I wanted to get done in this video. And tonight I went back and could not get them to touch a thing. So here's that video, guys. And I'll come back and talk about bucktails and how I was fishing this location right after. Thanks. Check it out. All right, folks, doing something a little different tonight. I got this camera away, fix it. Just banging into it here. Doing a little late night bucktail one. A little midnight bucktail. Oh, that fish got mad all of a sudden. A few casts. That was the first one so far. See if this lights up a little bit. Doesn't feel like too bad. The fish was way out at the end of the cast. Hey, that's not a bad fish at all. Alright, folks. Bucktailing. We'll get back into that a little bit. as soon as I fix this camera and let this fish go. I'm catching them on bucktails. You want to know why? Just pop them off the hook so easy. Get off. Got a bad spring striper. Let me put that down for a second. On the camera a little bit. Quick weight on it. You guys are going to see me weigh a lot of fish. The reason why I weigh them is I'm in the New York State surf fishing contest in the surf club. And that fish is probably not going to be enough to make points for me, but it'll get release points for the club itself. Let's let this guy go. Kick off any second. Touch their tail, they take off. Alright guys, let me clip it here and I'll come back. We'll go over this a little bit. I gotta fix this camera. Alright folks, so like I said, bucktailing. Unfortunately it's at night. I'm gonna have to go back during the day and show you guys exactly what I'm doing here. But basically I'm fishing a little channel here. About probably 8 feet deep at the most. High tide, just started going out a little bit ago. And I'm just casting the bucktail out. And just letting it come on back to me, giving it that old little pitch. Real slow, just keeping it off the bottom. Don't want it to touch the bottom here. Touch the bottom, we're going to pick up the crap. Pick up the crap, I won't catch a fish. Hoping as this tide picks up a little back here. We got a really strong northwest wind tonight. So now I'm fishing, you know, facing the other side of the bay. So I'm actually facing south. Whereas in the past videos I was facing north. And I had some real good nights in the past few nights. One that I have a lot of great video of. But that video is going to have to get posted a little later on. I'm sorry, it's way too revealing. So we'll do the bucktailing back here. All right, folks, on fish number 2 out here. I got hit before, so I think this bite might pick up, maybe. Camera slipped down again a little bit. Hey, not bad. Not bad fish for this time of year back here. That's a decent fish. Go, folks. Not too bad. Too shabby. Probably about the same size as the other one, actually. Once again, bucktails. Right in the snout. Coming out. There we go. Ouch. Disappointing myself. It's no fun. I'm gonna guess this fish around 10 or 11 pounds or so. Yeah, that one goes 12. Not bad. Not bad at all. Bucktail night. This could get fun. Let this girl go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to revive that one. There she goes. Into the darkness. Now, can we catch one on camera, actually? It's a question. I got hit the cast before that, too. Let's see.
They're pretty far out too. I guess as it's dropping right into that channel. Basically, there's like a pretty shallow flat on the other side. During low tide, it's like completely exposed. There's a boat channel that runs through the middle. I'd hit the cast before that. The light tap. And it comes back up. Alright folks, on another one. Ooh. Just be that angry. So funny, just going to be like half falling asleep to hit again. Alright. Shaping up to be not too bad of a night. Oh, Nicole's going to be mad again. What else I like about bucktails? You hardly ever drop them. As long as you keep that line tight, you're not going to drop a fish on a bucktail. Double hooks always pull. Right on top of the horseshoe. Go ahead. That's a real nice fish, actually. Yeah, that's the biggest one so far. He ain't bad at all. Not a bad fish. Alright, you know what, guys? I'm going to take a picture real quick and get this guy unhooked and let him go. Let me just shut this off here and we'll come back. Alright guys, this fish went 14 pounds. That's not too bad. Easy fish. Come on, you. What are you doing? We gotta give it a second this time here. Oh, I'm biting on the thumb. Come on. Take your time releasing these guys. That's what you gotta do sometimes. Give it a couple extra seconds. Get some water in their gills. Off she goes. Alright guys, 10, 12, 14. Let's see if we can keep climbing the ladder here. A lot of fun, man. You know what, I'm out of the wind in this spot, kind of. Got my back. Some fish around. And there's nobody else with me. You got to explore spots, find your own road. You follow the pack and you're just going to get stuck in traffic. The traffic doesn't move. Whole island surrounded by water. Everybody just gravitates to the same places. Just because of pictures and photos on Instagram and Facebook. Alright guys, so we switched it up a little bit. Moved around. I started hearing them pop on the top a lot more. Wasn't getting any more hits on the bucktail. I switched it up. I'll show you what I switched it up to. Look at this fish in. Gotta ride the surface a little bit more. A few casts in, we got this guy. He just, now he wants to fight, I guess. He's making quite a bit of a mess there. Hey, that's a pretty decent fish now too. Not bad. Fish number 4 of the night. And sometimes I've noticed back here that you hear them popping on the top a lot. And that's that shallow water. And they're looking up, sitting on the bottom. They're cruising around the top, and they don't want to eat anything on the bottom. Keep coming up and feeding on the top. I'm hearing them over and over again. We switched over to little tsunami sand eel. And now that's getting the job done for us. I'm kind of working it the same way as the bucktail, but of course it's lighter, so it's riding a lot harder in the water. Fish, I would say. Ah! Good job, Jack. Yes. Get him back in the water. Let's see how shallow this water's gotten now. It's been quite a while since I've had a bite. No, other way. There it goes. Well, yeah. Sometimes you got to switch it up. So that's one fish on the tsunami sand eel. Interesting enough. But I've had some luck with these back here when the water's gotten shallow before, and they've been feeding on top, and I couldn't get them to hit anything else. Pretty good lure for that. Small bait, scale it down. With this wind, I can kind of fish it. Getting it out a little further. They're really light. You might even want to scale down. You get like a 7-foot rod. But my Nasky blew up, so we're gonna. I already ordered a new one. I love that reel for albies. Had it for a long time, and I didn't really take care of it that well last year. And that's what happens when you don't take care of your stuff. All right, guys, let's make a couple more casts and see what happens. Even though I'm not gonna be able to get one to eat on camera, I think you'd see it anyway. But really, I'm just not really getting it out that far either. It's real light. See if I can.
Okay, yeah, guys. So bucktails. I mean, they make them in dozens of different varieties, dozens of different shapes, heads. They all tie a little bit different. I happen to tie my own. I like tying my own. You know, this is the your average smiling bill, your kind of your bullet headed jetty caster, if you call it. You got your Spro style or ultra minnow is the real name for it, and the one on the top, of course, is the rip splitter, which you don't see too much anymore. The Andrews rip splitters, but we happen to get a mold that's similar, so I really like that bucktail too. One of my favorites. They all have their differences. Some of them ride a little bit. They say that the mouth on the smiling bills and the rip splitters gives a little tiny bit of wobble that you know, imparts some action. There's dozens of different trailers you can put on the back of them. You can put the old Otter Tails, the Uncle Josh, pork rinds, the fat cows. I use the fat cows a lot. I happen to like those. You could shorten it up, and you get in short stripes. You could put a curly tail. You can put it on the back of it as a trailer. God, Kitex you can put on the back as a trailer. It's so versatile. So many different things you can do with it, and you can fish it like hundreds of different ways. For me to go over one video on bucktailing or make one video on bucktailing it would never end, and I wouldn't be able to cover everything in one video. My plan is to eventually, every time that I move on to fishing a bucktail differently, make a new video and kind of make this like a series of videos. And I may not really change what I'm doing with the bucktail now until probably, I'd say, mid-May, when I start fishing jetties. So it's completely a different way than I fished these bucktails in this video. Completely different. So, you know, there's your average different bucktails. And I know there's other styles, arrowheads. There's ones that are like triangle shaped. I don't even know what they call them. Those ones that look like beans, lima beans. That's another one that was very popular. But these are the four main ones that I will use. And the ultra minnow, pretty much this one I use for fluke. I caught bass on it? Yeah, but that's not, you know, that's not one of the ones that I reach for first when I'm bass fishing. It's going to be one of these three. And if I really want to get down to the bottom, it's going to be the bullet. You know, if I have a quicker moving current, I don't want to move up weight. I want to use maybe a 2 instead of a 2.5, and I want to keep it at that. Then yeah, they seem to go down a little further, whereas the bill or the mouth on the smiling bill and the jetty caster, I can use that to get a little bit of lift, a little bit more lift than the other. Um, so many different ways of fishing them. You really just have to get out there and fish them and see the differences. It's not really something I can explain. It's something that you kind of have to experience. Like with a lot of fishing, a lot of the stuff that I say here or that I try to teach you guys is, you know, you kind of have to go out there and do it. There's no me tell you go do this. And fishing is so much a feel to me, at least to me, to learn. I mean, people are different. They can listen to something, hear it, go out, do it, and do it. I kind of have to go out there, experience it, and take some time with it, and then it clicks. You know, you get that click, you get that hit. You're like, oh, okay, there it goes. All right, so that's it on bucktails for right now. And then, like I said, I just wanted to go over the basic bucktail. And like I said, it's essentially a piece of lead with paint over it, you know, on a hook with some deer tail and some thread tied around it. And you can get these tied with feathers and all, so many varieties. There's so many different things, and I've seen them all work. You know, that's the great thing about a bucktail is the plain one work, the fancy one works. They all work. You know, everybody's got their preference on what they like to use, and that's fine too. Everybody's got their preference in the way that they fish them, and if it works, it works. You know, if it works is a dumb idea, no. So you know, start working with these. You know, try different things with them. You kind of have to match the weight of a bucktail to where you're fishing. The spot that I was fishing, you'll hear me say that I can't let that bucktail touch the bottom. If it touches the bottom, it's gonna pick up junk off the bottom. I can't cast it up current like I would in other situations and let it skip the bottom until it hits a certain point and rises up. This has to come back to me straight, and that's kind of like the same way that I fished them on the front side. And if you go back and check out, there was a video I did a couple of years ago. I was bucktailing bass in December. It was kind of the same thing that I was doing in this video that that we're making right now. So for the bucktails, you know, the styles and everything else, you've seen how I was working it. I'm going to show you kind of like a scenario or a diagram of a representation of where I was. So just I'll be right back with that. All right, guys. So this is a representation of kind of a general kind of an area that I was in. As you can see, there's a creek, and it opens up here to the bay, an open bay creek, and there's a boat channel that runs in the middle, and that's going to be the deepest water. And that particular boat channel that I was fishing was probably maybe 8 feet deep at the most. And you have your gradual slope into it, but you'll have your drop off, you know, and then you have very shallow water around over here. So and it's funny because sometimes at night those fish are up in here munching away on whatever it is that they're finding floating over their heads, and you can't catch them. Sometimes they're doing it here too. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm working that shoreline, and again, I'm not casting it up current because I don't want that bucktail to hit the bottom. So I'm casting it, you know, across the channel, and then immediately I'm picking it up. I'm keeping it off the bottom here, and I'm letting it kind of drop off into the channel here. And you know, basically when it was hitting that spot, that's where I was getting all the hits in this video. Not on the in you know, then as it goes with the current, because the outgoing's going that way, it's sliding across until you get into here, and then you're reeling it on back to you. Because when you hit the edge of the boat channel here, well, now you're hitting the bottom. So no good. And again, casting, hitting probably here, pulling it across, and like I said, when I was hitting the edge of the channel, that's where those fish were sitting, at least in this particular trip. Now, could they be in the middle? Yeah, sure, but they weren't this time. Could they be right on the edge of this part of the channel? Yeah, they could be, but they weren't this time. This time they were kind of right here, and I have had them in the middle in past trips. So, you know, if you can find something that looks like this and you have that spot of deeper water, the bucktail is a great choice for this type of scenario. So, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please consider becoming a subscriber. Leave a comment. What do you guys think? Am I hitting this? Is this gonna help you guys out? I hope it does. Again, thank you very much for watching, guys. The channel's grown quite a bit in the past couple of weeks since I came back, and I really appreciate that, and I appreciate the comments you guys leave. So I will see you guys next time. Until then, tight lines.